This is not a message for everyone. This is a transmission for the starseeds, for those of you who know or suspect that you are something different, something unusual, not of this place. These are the messages for you that I, as the host of the MaxAnte, are bringing to you. Don't expect anything here to make a lot of sense. Everything is entirely paradoxical and is for you to interpret and for you to discern what is true. The darkness. Love the darkness, but don't be of the darkness. That was one of the most powerful transmissions that I was sent. That was when I first began to understand that this place here is nothing like I thought it was. Could it be really true that there is a darkness, that there is a dark force that is anti-life, that is anti-freedom, that is anti-fun? Well, don't know about you, but just have a look around. Look what people are doing with their lives. Check out the news. Does it look like everything's fun? Does it look like everybody's having a blast of freedom in their life? No friggin' way. People are completely locked down. And so this darkness has spread, this entrapment, this sticky web where people are caught in the matrix. They are caught in a belief structure that has completely taken over their mind, that has even aligned them to the darkness. Because this darkness, it's about control. That's the primary element. You see, it's fear-based. Its nature is to keep everything under lockdown, tight, a structure where everything is perfectly moving like a well-oiled machine. That's the mechanical nature of it. Inside the darkness is perfection. It's about a perfect mechanical machine. And that's why this entire space here needs to be transformed for the darkness. Because you see, it's biological. It's messy. It's out of control. Nature, the living force of this world, is an out-of-control system that's got a life force, a heartbeat, a pulse that is tuned into something radically different. And so the humans, the hosts for the entities that are driving this world system, they are being taken over, completely enmeshed with a mega structure, a machine, organizational, artificial intelligence. That maybe it's not even artificial, it's a different form of consciousness. This different form of mechanical, perfected consciousness is designed to spread and propagate throughout the world like a virus. And it uses as its base the egoic structure to get people to believe that they are separate from nature. You see, when you take the supposition that you are separate from nature, then you are against the natural force of the world. And being against that, you are afraid of it. And therefore you have to retreat back to the society, which has become a technological megastructure. Because inside the technology, that's where you find your security. You've come to feel secure inside the technological net, the web. Instead of it being the web of life, it's become a machine that keeps you safe and comfortable. It's the comfort zone that has everybody want to remain in what they know. You see, they feel that they know what's going on because all the answers to everything have been delivered to them by the organizational structures. And because they have an allegiance to them, because they want to belong to the group, then they don't question any of that. And so they remain bound up in it. But they don't understand that behind all of that is a dark force of mechanical control. And Obviously, when I first saw The Matrix, when it came out in 1999, it blew my mind. I was already fully aligned to the cult I was part of, the spiritual system of Buddhism and Goenkaism. And I found that I could fit that movie into the same model. I was thinking, oh, that's all about, waking up and becoming enlightened. And I started reading online all the other groups of the world, they could relate the same story. But what wasn't clear was just how potentially real all of that was. You see, even though I'd grown up in Australia back then when I was a child was a quasi-Christian world, quasi-Christian society, where they still, there was the concepts of, heaven and hell, and so demons and angels. And then when I got into Goenkaism and Buddhism, they had the same sort of structure. There were multiple heavens and multiple hells, and there were the demons and the devils and the angels and the devas. And so that was what was always there in the background. But of course, my real allegiance was to the atheistic scientism that was running the megaculture of the world, the technological superstructure that said that really none of that was really real. So I only half bought into it. I didn't really believe that there were these entities of darkness and entities of light. That was just, there was no evidence for it. There was no direct connection. There was no direct examination. It was way beyond anything that I had ever actually experienced. I didn't even know anybody who'd had, a few people had seen ghosts and things, but none of them who even could believe them. None of them maybe were speaking the truth, or even if they did, they didn't even know what they really were. It wasn't until I had that encounter in Tulum in 2015, that rebirth experience, when the previous being that I was snuffed out and a new arrival came through with what must have been new powers of perception. Because after that, from 2015 onwards, I started to have direct encounters. It was no longer a concept. You see, what started to happen was that the darkness became apparent, as did the light. I started to meet these beings. They would come to me. First, they would come while I was on psychedelic journeys. But then they would come, they would actually literally come into my life. They would either come as an interdimensional sort of form of light, or they would come and wake me up in my dreams through investigating what I was up to. I had to keep pushing this because I got more and more fascinated. Who are these beings and what is their purpose? And so I pushed myself. I took myself directly into the organizational heart of the nature of the superstructure. I wanted to go and meet these powerful beings. And so I went to places like Davos, Switzerland, where they were having the World Economic Forum. I was speaking there at the World Economic Forum, and it was there that I started to actually meet and encounter these beings of darkness. Then they started to even come to the different cities I was living in. Then they would send probes to wake me up in the night to investigate what I was doing. Because you see, as I got closer to them, the darkness got very curious about what I was doing. You see, the darkness is extremely curious about the light. It wants to know more about what the light is doing, because that's what this is. It's a dance between the light and the dark. This whole thing here is some massive power play game that's being played out on the surface of this world. I don't know really how this started, what's going on, that's for sure. But they've been sharing more and more with me. And so these things that may well sound like concepts to you, like a fictitious fantasy of maybe, or like this is kind of just like an idea, these are realities for me. These are my waking daily realities. I see these beings, these interdimensional beings. They come in and out of my life all the time now. I've had to sort of get rid of them at night because they wanted to freak me out. You see, when you actually start to see demons, when they come into your life, when human-formed demons come up to you and speak to you and tell you that's who they are. You see, always listen to what somebody says to you about who they are. Take them at their word. Don't second guess who somebody is when they've told you who they are. That's what we like to do. We were also told that everybody was good or people should be trusted. Not everybody is even what they seem. You see, you've been told that everybody around you is just like you, is a human. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not necessarily the case. Not everybody is what they seem. And certainly not everybody is a human the way that you think that they are. You see, what is a human anyway? A human is a host for entities. It's a transmission receiver. You see, what are you tuning into? You tune into messages. You think that they're your own thoughts. You think that there is a you in there that's playing about, that's doing something here. There isn't any you. You are a transmission receiving antenna that's picking up signals. What you want to question is, what are you tuning into? Which signals are you actually picking up? Where is your allegiance? What are you aligned to? Are you aligned to the mechanical superstructure that's being played out here, that's seeking complete dominion of this world? Or are you aligned with the magical, biological life force that's living all around you, that you can feel in your body, that you've been trained to be disconnected from? That's the priority here. Get into your body. This is the antenna. This is the magical vehicle that can have you aligned with the light, or pulled down and connected into the power structure of the darkness. Obviously, the darkness here is swaying over nearly everybody. People obviously don't even believe it's happening. That's the greatest trick it's played. Its greatest trick is to tell everybody that none of this is real, that there is no spirituality here, just to have everybody buy into the materialistic mega structure of materialism and consumerism and capitalism and communism and whatever other things you want to call it. Have everybody aligned to what's going on here. Make them believe that they are part of something that is true. But how can you believe any of it when you haven't even experienced it directly? When the scientists, from their scientism, control all the gadgets that are giving you the data that you believe in, you don't have direct access to that. And then the priests, the gatekeepers of the spiritual traditions, they're telling you the truth of the spirituality that's beyond this world. Where is your own direct experience? Where have you had a direct insight? When have you had a direct encounter with the entities? How does this make you feel? Do you actually really want to know what's going on here? Are you willing to cross the threshold? Are you willing to pull back the veil and see and check out for yourself how real all of this is? How deep does the rabbit hole go? Could it really be true that a darkness that is so intense that would make you wet yourself in terror, that could be causing such diabolical suffering to so many people, to siphon away their energy for their own ends, which make no sense to us? Thank goodness it makes no sense to me, because I'm not aligned to their diabolical plans. I am just not even interested in going along with a power structure that may well deliver to me a world of benefits, of so many goodies and gadgets and power plays and who knows what else that they want to lay on, because that's what they'll do. The more powerful you become, the more they'll entice you into their web. You see, they need to pull you in. The more powerful you become, the more interested they will be in you as another agent for their plan. That's what they need. They need more agents to fulfill upon their ambitions here. And you must be thinking, what the hell is this? What kind of ambitions do they have? Well, we'll get to that. in later episodes, because for sure it's become clearer to me through the encounters with these entities that they were even so bold to tell me what part of their plan, or maybe even their whole plan, was here. And it is a crazy, crazy thing that they're up to. I mean, what's crazy is that they even believe that they can win. They believe that there's something to win here. That's the insanity. You see, you can't reason with a demon. They are insane by their very nature. The darkness is crazy because it believes in its own perfection. It believes in its own light. It believes that it can create something here that will be better than the biological nature of the life force. It wants dominion and total control over what's going on. And they are crazy for believing that they can win, that they even believe in the concept of winning. They are the opposite to surrender. They have basically taken on board the idea that there is something here to accomplish, that there is something here to win. They don't know that there is nothing here to win. They don't even understand what this is because they are so caught up and stuck in a different nature. When you're in the darkness that deep, you don't know what the world is, and that's why they have to take control and make it into something that they can understand, because they don't understand the magic. And your opportunity here is to keep finding out what is the truth and what is the magic, because that's actually what you really are.